got a phone for my son, but my ex won't allow it at her house. And tells Attorney James Worth that's the question that we have. So it sounds like we've got some parties that have split. It sounds like we've got an order in place that grants them each physical custody time. The child's going back and forth between mom and dad. Dad buys a phone for the child so that he can have communication when the child is with mom, and so that mom can have communication with the child when the child is with dad. So that works great when the child is with dad, but now he's finding out when the child is with mom, mom doesn't allow him to have the phone, doesn't allow the phone to go over there. So he doesn't get the benefit of the purpose that he got the phone, which is so that they can maintain good contact when the child is away. So what can be done about this? Okay, so first off, the general rule. The general rule is that when we're talking about custody, we're talking about legal decision making. There's about 5 big legal decisions that if the sole custodian, if one party is the sole custodian, they make those big decisions. If the parties have joint custody, then they have to agree on those decisions. But if it doesn't fall within one of those 5 main things, then it's not determined by who the legal custodian is. It's determined by who has physical custody at that time. So we're not talking about, where the child's going to be, what church the child's going to be a member of. We're not talking about elective medical procedures. We're not talking about where the child goes to school. We're not talking about those big things. We're talking about, can the child have a phone? So the general rule is that's going to be determined by the parent that has physical custody at that time or visitation at that time. So if the kid's with mom, mom doesn't want the kid to have the phone, mom's not going to have the kid with the phone. That's the default. However, if it's joint custody, then there should be a joint child custody plan. And that joint child custody plan can have all kinds of particular rules that were either agreed upon by the parties or ordered by the judge. So you want to look in that document to see if it says anything about phones. If so, then you go by what that says. If not, maybe it might make sense to file for a modification to address that specific issue and get a ruling on that issue. But then we come down to this circumstance where it is expensive and time consuming to go to court. And if we're talking small parenting issues like this that frequently come up, it's not practical to hire an attorney, file with the court, wait forever to get in there, have your hearing before a judge, and then get a decision from the judge on it. So for little stuff like this, my recommendation is always get a parenting coordinator. So that may make sense to do in this case. So you can file an application to appoint a parenting coordinator, then the judge can appoint that parenting coordinator after hearing from the other side, and that parenting coordinator can help decide these little issues. Little issue comes up, you have a good parenting coordinator, you email them, this is the issue. Parenting coordinator emails the other parent, say, hey, this is the issue, what's your response? The parenting coordinator hears from the other parent, and that parenting coordinator can make small decisions that then become orders of the court if there's no objection within 10 days. If there's an objection, then it goes before the judge, but if there's not, it becomes an order of the court after 10 days. It's much faster, much cheaper, and resolves these issues. So if you have sharing custody with another parent and these issues come up, it's good to have a child or a parenting coordinator in place. If you don't have that, then you're looking at what are the terms of the custody orders, the joint child custody plan, and if it's not covered there, then it's going to be the default, which means mom can say that they don't have the phone over there. So if you're dealing with this, though, there are circumstances that could be particular case that changes the rules a little bit, so you want to talk to an attorney privately and confidentially about that. To get that scheduled with an attorney at my office, you can go online to makelawEasy.com.